Hello all sentient beings and welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, where we talk about all news, comics, and media related to the... On this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode, we are joined by Mike Seibert and Robo Apollo from Iacon Online as we review Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise. We go back in time to check out some vintage Transformers costumes, and guess which one of your favorite Transmissions hosts has a panel at Iacon Online. Today is Friday, January 29th, 2021, and this is episode 218 of Transmissions Alt Mode.
Welcome to Transmissions Alt Mode, the podcast that's looking forward to an iconic online convention. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
Hey, how are you guys? Let's talk Transformers.
All right, and we are very pleased to welcome a couple of special guests to our episode. This week we have the return of Mike Seibert from the Mike Seibert Radio Show. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
And another special guest, Apollo, the organizer of Iacon Online.
Hey, thanks for having me on your show.
Welcome, and thanks for joining us. And Iacon Online is coming just, this show goes up Friday, so this Iacon Online is starting Saturday. So this is a little preview for everyone looking forward to this. This looks like it's a massive event you've got cooking up here.
Yeah, it's an event you're not going to want to miss if you're a Transformers fan.
Yeah, we're all looking forward to it, and we will get into that just a little bit later. So stay tuned, and we're gonna do a deep dive on Iacon Online. All right, as always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who give us money on Patreon and PayPal. So thank you to all you folks who continue to support us. We really appreciate it. And if you'd like to support the show, just go to transmissionspodcast.com/support. And that's where you can find links to join our Patreon or subscribe on PayPal. Another way to help out the show would be to buy some merchandise from our TeePublic store. That's at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. And you can also check out our friend K-Girl's store at teepublic.com/user/superstark. And we've got cool shirts and masks and lots of other merchandise all at our TeePublic store. And if you buy anything from our link from TeePublic, that helps out the show. We've also got our Best of 2020 survey that is live. We just put that up this week. You have another 2 weeks to fill out that survey until Friday, February 12th. You can tell us what were your favorite Transformers comics and toys, or I should say toys and comics of 2020. We do this every year, so we're really curious to see what you guys thought. What were your favorite toys, both the mainline Hasbro and licensed stuff, and also third-party stuff. Also Transformers comics. We're big Transformers comics fans, so we're always curious to hear what people think of the comics. So, get your surveys in and let us know, and we'll give you the results in a few weeks' time. You can also check out Empire of Rust, episode 42, Fix-It Fabrication Jr., and that will be out Monday, February 1st. So that is the continuing Transformers live play RPG podcast run by our editor and producer, Mike Ordway. So different Mike. But check out the continuing story of the heroes in Empire of Rust. All right, now let's get back to Iacon Online. This is coming tomorrow, January 30th and 31st. Apollo, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how did you get into Transformers?
Well, like you guys, I saw G1 originally back in the 80s. I saw it as reruns, but I only saw a few episodes. And then when I was in middle school, I saw Beast Wars and thought that was a really cool show. Didn't know it was a Transformers show. And then I kind of drifted out of the fandom, and back in 2017, Transformers last night. That movie came out, and a friend of mine went, "Hey, you want to go see this movie?" And I was just like, okay. And I hadn't been to Transformers in years. And so went to see the movie, and I thought Megatron was really cool from that. Like, I just really liked his design and the character, and did a Google search, and I discovered Transformers Prime and the More Than Meets the Eye comic by James Roberts, and I've been hooked ever since.
Awesome. So you are a returning fan from
Yes.
a long time in the wilderness.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I was such a little kid when Transformers first came out, because I was born in 86. So, I saw like old G1 reruns. So I wasn't really able to really get into it until I was older.
So now, do you have a huge toy collection, or what is your main source of joy from the Transformers fandom? Is it the media or the toys, or a little bit of both, or everything?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. I really like everything from it, but I would say the biggest thing that is my favorite thing is the fan created content, things like your podcast show, other podcasters, like Mike and More Than Meets the Pod and the APDC guys, the fan art. There are so many talented artists in the community, and many of them become actual professional artists for the Transformers franchise. I just really like the fan creators and the fan content that is created from this fandom. I'd say that's the thing I enjoy the most. I do have figures. I have not done a count on my figures since I started collecting back in 2017. I probably have, I'm looking now, I probably have like 110 figures now. I'd have to go through and count them. So I'm a huge Seeker fan. So like I have most of the Siege Seekers. I am missing 3 of them, which you probably, one of them being Skywarp, which I don't know if I'll ever get him at a reasonable price. So, but it's just been a lot of fun being a part of this fandom and the community, and, getting to geek out over the toys and, the characters and whatnot.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, fan created content is really, I think, one of the high points, one of the differentiators of Transformers fandom. And I remember just for a long time when Transformers were not the top of the pop culture public eye, you had a lot of fanfic and fan created stuff that sustained a lot of the Transformers storytelling when it was not as popular as it is now. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Especially between shows, like in, I would say, the early 2000s, it was pretty much all we had.
So Apollo, now, I mean, this icon online, for me, it looks like it basically came out of nowhere, but now it's like turned into this massive event. So how did this start, and how did you how did you come up with this idea and draw together and build such a huge event?
Well, funny that you asked about that. So this is Iacon Online's origin story, and I'll be telling this again tomorrow at opening ceremonies. So you're going to be getting a little early preview. Like with many people over the past year, I was just so disappointed with 2020, with all the conventions being canceled and, just not being able to be around my friends, because usually at these Transformers conventions that happen in person, that's when I get to see all my friends in real life, and I was just so disappointed. And so back in August, I sent out a tweet asking if anyone would want to participate in an online Transformers event, and this tweet got so many comments of people going, yes, I want to help. And a lot of just positive, interactions and review, and comments and whatnot. And so I just made a Discord server and said, anyone who wants to join can join. And so, so then what happened from that is, a team came from that one tweet. And we've been meeting since the end of August every Sunday, 2 to 3 hours a night on Sunday nights, planning this event. Over the last 5 months, there's been countless hours of the team's free time, care, and effort that's been dedicated to putting on the best virtual fan convention ever. If you do get a chance to do so, please thank one of the Iacon Online staff members for putting on this event. They've really put their hearts and spirit and care into putting on this event and making it as best as possible.
One of the things that I would say, just to jump in for a sec, one of the things that I think makes our group so cool is that we come from different corners of the fandom. So there's fan artists, there's fanfic writers, there's podcasters. So each one of us kind of brings our own network and our own experience and our own take on it. So, in other words, one of the things that attracted me to this project is that it's run and stewarded by folks that don't look like me. So it's just kind of exciting to be with folks that aren't just G1ers like myself. It's like that's the cool thing about Transformers fandom, is that there are so many entry points and so many cool things. I mean, taste the rainbow, but that's but yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that really, really caught my attention early on, is that, we're so diverse and representative, and our fandoms are so different. Like, I'm into Transformers the movie, but then other folks are like into Transformers Prime or Transformers Animated, and again, all these different entry points. It's just it's really cool to get a different cross section of folks coming from those different entry points in the fandom.
So, Apollo, are you into any fan creations, or do you do fanfic or fan art, or have your own podcast?
Actually, I am a fan artist for the fandom, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Robo Apollo, and open for commissions usually all the time. So yeah, I am a fan artist. I do write some fanfics, but I'd consider myself more of an artist, and I have been on Mike's show quite a bit, so maybe I'm a mini podcaster now, but in an unofficial capacity.
It's all been leading up to this. You've been building up your XP, to host some of these awesome panels that you've been a part of.
Yeah, and I guess I'm an event coordinator now, and a president and founder of a convention. I mean, which is really exciting too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so maybe why don't you tell us a little bit about how the event's going to go tomorrow, and I know we're going to get into the full schedule later on in the show, but give us an overview.
Okay, awesome. So first of all, I just want to bring up that Iacon Online is a not-for-profit by fans for fans convention. Event staff and guests are not getting paid to be a part of this event. It's 100% volunteer. Just want to get that out there. So this is by fans for fans. Oh
man.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Yeah, we've been just doing this because we love Transformers. That's really why we've been doing this. So, starting off with panels, our panel schedule, panels start from 10:30 a.m. to 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time Saturday, and Sunday it starts at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time to 9:40 p.m. The primary panels will be played on the Iacon Online Twitch channel at twitch.tv/IaconOnline. There are a variety of panels, including fan fiction, how to draw Transformers. We have a cosplay contest. There are interviews and more. We have a few other panels going on concurrently that will be streamed on other Twitch channels where you can find out and to find out how to be a part of those, you can go on our website and check out our schedule at iacononline.wordpress.com/schedule to find out where the panels you want to watch are streaming. We also have a Discord server for the event. And the Discord channel server is a way for fans to participate live during the event. It is not required to have a Discord server or join our Discord server, but it's highly encouraged because you can participate live during the event this way. Obviously you can comment on the Twitch channel or make posts on social media, but you guys being familiar with Discord, it's just so much more interactive, and there's so many different things you can do in Discord. In Discord, you can shop our virtual artist alley with over 30 shops, participate with other fans via the text or voice channels, and more. You can go to our website at iacononline.wordpress.com to get the Discord invitation link. And we also have a how to use the Discord channel video by our talented broadcaster and technology strategist, Suna, for more information on how to use it as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and then in regards to Artist Alley, for those folks that don't want to use Discord, we do have all of our artists listed on our website, and you can check out their social media accounts. You can also check their shops and shop directly from the website. It's just encouraged to use the Discord because there's going to be artists streaming what they're drawing during the event. Not all of them are going to do that, but there's quite a few that are going to be doing that. So it's just another way to be interactive with the event.
I didn't realize you could do so much with Discord. I mean, we use Discord a lot for our podcast, but it's very versatile and can do lots of different stuff with it. So that's cool. And I'm going to join the Discord myself and get ready for the event.
I blame Jeremy for not, getting Discord to its full potential.
Yeah, well, and I've learned so much about it. Like I went from not even being on Discord to having my eyes opened up to all of this stuff. It's been quite the adventure.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah. We even have a panel for the event that's going to be a voice chat panel on our Discord server, and there's more information about that in the schedule. So it's really versatile what we have going on for the event.
Oh, this sounds like I mean it's very cool because it seems like you've really put a lot of work into making this a really interactive online event. I mean, I know it doesn't compare to actually having a face-to-face convention. It's difficult to recreate that experience, but I think all the things that you guys are preparing sounds like it's the next best thing. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Thank you. Yeah, we just wanted to make it the best experience as possible, considering none of us can be together. But the beauty of it being online is we are a worldwide event. We are not just focused on one city or inside one country. We have participants from all around the world for the event. So it's pretty exciting in that regard.
All right. Well, Apollo, is there anything else you want to tell us before we subject you to our rapid fire questions?
If I highly encourage you, if you're a Transformers fan, please watch Iacon online. It's going to be streaming tomorrow and Sunday, pretty much all day. You don't want to miss it. We've got such a variety of amazing panels and guests, and also follow our social media accounts at Iacon Online on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and Facebook to get more updates about the convention as well.
I would like to make one comment about it being on Twitch. That's if people don't realize that the Twitch mobile app, you can just have it playing with the screen off, in your pocket, and be listening to a Twitch channel. And that's, if you're busy doing stuff on the weekend, it's a way to just go ahead and listen to the convention, while you're out and doing stuff.
Oh, that's exciting. See, I didn't even know that. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like YouTube, you have to pay for that feature, but Twitch, it's just built in.
That's awesome.
See, we're all learning through the power of friendship.
Yes.
And we'll unpack this more when we do a deeper dive into Iacon Online. But where almost all of our programming came from was through friendship and connections. It's like, oh, I know this person. I know this person who knows that person. And before we knew it, we had 2 full days of we have 30 plus programs. And a lot of it just came from momentum and friendship. It's been incredible.
I believe some other fandom said friendship is magic, so it seems like that's true.
Hey, man, it's all Hasbro. It's all in the family.
Yeah, pretty much.
Friendship in disguise.
And there's a Transformers... Yeah, and there's a Transformers My Little Pony crossover comic, and they're coming out with a second one. So friendship is indeed magical.
You're spoiling our comics news section.
Oops, spoilers. Yeah.
All right, Apollo. Well, congratulations to you and the team at Iacon Online. I'm sure the event is going to be super successful. I'm looking forward to it. And now, so we have a tradition where every guest that we invite on the show, we give them a little bit of a test. It's our rapid fire questions. Mike's already been on the show once, so he's gone through this already. But this is your first time on transmissions or transmissions alt mode, I should say.
Uh-oh.
So this is so it's just a list of questions. They're kind of yes, no, either or, A or B. So nothing too challenging. Or depending on your point of view, there might be some crisis if you have trouble deciding. But we're gonna run through these questions and just give the first answer that pops in your mind.
All right, sounds good.
Okay, here we go. Autobot or Decepticon?
Decepticon.
And who is your favorite Decepticon?
Starscream.
All right. Transformers live action movie 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or Bumblebee?
Bumblebee.
More Than Meets the Eye or Lost Light, Robots in Disguise or Optimus Prime, Till All Are One, or the new Transformers comic that started in 2019?
Oh, that's hard. I really love IDW2, but I also really like Till All Are One.
Ah, yeah, Till All Are One is one of our favorites too. Margaret Scott and Sarah Peter Durocher. We were sad it was only 12 issues. They had a great run.
They did.
We were a little biased towards that book anyway.
Well, and an annual. They got an annual.
Yeah.
They did get an annual, yes. All right, third-party toys, yes or no?
Yes, but I usually buy the main line or the main Hasbro toys now.
Oh, that's fine. It's not third party toys exclusively. It's just whether you accept them or not.
Okay.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs, and you might hear my corgi in the background. He's been very patient with me today.
Okay, he's been quiet so far.
So far, but he's kind of staring at me like, you're on the computer still? Really?
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Chicken or steak?
Chicken.
Pepsi or Coke?
Coke.
Burger King or McDonald's?
Neither, but McDonald's if I have to choose one.
You can throw your own fast food choice if you have another choice.
Oh yeah, In-N-Out Burger.
Ah, yes, West Coast. That's right.
Yeah. Hashtag.
History or science?
Science.
Xbox, PlayStation, or Nintendo Switch?
I don't own any video game systems anymore, but I'm throwing my hat in with Nintendo.
All right. PC or Mac?
Mac. Wait, you already knew I was on a Mac, so it's kind of obvious.
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
And is there a phone app that you can't live without?
I like Venmo, so why not?
The first time we've gotten that one.
All right, it's more like I'm paying someone money.
All right, Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
Do you have a favorite Marvel character?
I like Iron Man.
Stallone or Schwarzenegger?
Schwarzenegger.
Pixar or DreamWorks?
Pixar.
Do you have a guilty pleasure movie that you'll always watch whenever it's on? So I know in this era of streaming, there's not a whenever it's on anymore, but back when we just watched regular TV.
Movies, not so much. I would say, though, if I have to pick a movie lately, it's been Promare.
Okay. How about a TV show?
Oh, that one's easy for me. It's Schitt's Creek. Like, I've watched it probably 7 times in 2020. Like, I just have it on the background.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, because, like, when you're drawing, it's good to have background noise, and then I can look up, like, when funny stuff happens.
You don't have to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
All right. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Oh, it's Star Wars. Like I'm back in love with Star Wars. Like for a while, I was not into Star Wars, but ever since I saw The Mandalorian, I'm all in again.
And I had to sell you on that too.
I know. And then after I was on your show with Jeremy, I ended up going and watching Clone Wars. So I'm currently watching that.
Yes.
Nice.
Jeremy's very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remembered seeing that when it was syndicated on TV, but I never watched it in order. It'd just be whenever I had time, like after school, to watch it. And like watching it in order has been really awesome.
Got to get Daryl on board. He's still the Star Wars holdout.
Join us. Come to the dark side. We have cookies.
We still have to get him to watch Beast Wars too.
What? Beast Wars is so good.
We keep telling them.
Fix the animation. I'll watch it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. The animation is dated. Like, I tried to rewatch it a few years ago, and you have to kind of, like, ignore that. It's got really great voice acting, so that makes up for the animation.
Well, if I ever lose my sight, I'll give it a watch.
You can listen to it like a radio show. Why not? It could be a podcast.
Old-timey radio play.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. Simpsons, Family Guy, or Rick and Morty?
Simpsons.
All right. And Walking Dead or Game of Thrones?
Walking Dead. I was a huge Game of Thrones fan, but the last season made me not like it.
Yeah. That seemed to be a lot of controversial decisions there in that last season. All right, sports, NFL, MLB, NHL, UFC, NBA, or Premier League?
NFL.
Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Volkswagen Beetle?
I'm going to go with the Volkswagen Beetle.
All right. And our last question, blonde, brunette, or redhead?
Blonde.
All right, you've made it. You've made it through the gauntlet. Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like I deserve a prize now.
The prize is you get to be a guest host on Transmissions anytime. You are certified.
Thank you.
As opposed to certifiable like me.
Apollo and Mike are sticking with us for the rest of the show, but we're going to move on and talk about some comics news. All right. Well, we've got April solicitations for 2021, the new comics coming out. Among them is Transformers Escape #5, and we've got some artwork by Livio Ramondelli. So that cover is showing up here. So if you're looking forward to the conclusion of that miniseries, so this is the miniseries that just kicked off, where I guess they're not the Autobots, the Cybertronians are trying to create a bunch of ships to get all the civilians off of Cybertron before the war heats up. And so it's interesting because there's actually non-robotic life on Cybertron, and they're trying to protect that. So, and the Insecticons are figuring in prominently in this story. So that concludes in April. We've also got, as Apollo mentioned, we've got My Little Pony Transformers 2. So a sequel to the previous My Little Pony Transformers crossover. This is starting in April. And we've got the authors James Asmus and Sam Maggs, who also wrote stories in the previous miniseries. So we'll be checking that out. I think the last one was pretty fun. So it seems like they might. In the last one, the Transformers came to Equestria, but at the end of that series, it looked like the space bridge was closed off. So it might be that the ponies are coming to Cybertron now in this new series. So looking forward to that. We'll see what happens there.
I saw Jack Lawrence is doing some of the art, and I also saw Casey Collar is doing some of the art in the book. Oh,
that's great. Yeah. Two veteran Transformers artists. That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm super stoked for this book, but more than that, I am super stoked to drink them G1er tears. There's folks on Twitter that have been like so salty about it, and it's just like, I don't know if it's an age thing or something, but like you get to a certain point in life where it's like, it's okay for a comic to just be fun for the sake of fun's sake. I had a blast with the first miniseries, and I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's not gonna affect anything that's happened in any of those stories that you hold precious. It is just it's consistent with itself, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. People like me are so salty, though. Oof.
Yeah.
You can't have ponies in my robot, baby.
Your robot can't have pony friends. But like even in Transformers Prime, when they did those little mini videos for Megatron, they had My Little Pony crossover references, like with his favorite song being the My Little Ponies theme. Like, so it's been around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I don't all these. I mean, I'm seeing crossover. I never thought we'd have Transformers crossing over with Ghostbusters, the Terminator, Back to the Future, My Little Pony. I mean, I'm just happy that Star Trek. I mean, this is. I'm just happy we're getting all these different things. I mean, Transformers has always been about doing different continuities, universes. I mean, the Transformers has infinite number of iterations, and it's really cool to see them doing things with other properties like this. And yeah, I mean, I'm all for it, so keep it coming.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed all the crossover comics. Like, I love the Back to the Future one as well, but seeing this My Little Pony Part 2 will be a lot of fun.
Yep. All right, we've still got a couple other solicitations. So I guess the boring regular Transformers comics coming out in April. So we've got Transformers number 30 and Transformers Beast Wars number 3. So that I wonder how long. I don't know if that's going to be a miniseries or maybe a longer term series. But
I can't remember what they've said about it.
Yeah,
but I will. Well, maybe Daryl might want to also give a hint, but if you're into Beast Wars, which Daryl is, we'll have some announcements coming up in the coming weeks that you'll be interested in.
Yeah, interesting things are happening behind the scenes. All right, well, that's all our comics news for this week, so we will move on to our review. And so we are going to do a spoiler review of Transformers War for Cybertron Earthrise. So we did a non-spoiler review back in December when the show first came out, and we gave our general thoughts. But we thought maybe we should do kind of a deep spoilery dive into the series. I think we don't really need to do a complete summary. I think everyone. I mean, I hope if you're listening to this show, you should have watched Earthrise before now. It's been out for a month. You've had plenty of time. If you haven't watched it yet, okay, skip this section of the show because we're gonna give all the spoilers. But yeah, this is continuing.
I got you covered. Spoilers: the Earth rises.
But yeah, so
thank you and good night.
The war for Cybertron continues. We go out into space. Back on Cybertron, the situation has become much more dire with the Allspark leaving the planet. Energy has become, the planet just has started dying. It's been an environmental crisis. Megatron has become even more ruthless. He's resorted to even siphoning off the sparks of his own Decepticons to power his Nemesis project. And Elita 1 leads the continually shrinking Autobot resistance against Megatron's forces. In space, Optimus Prime and the Autobots on the Ark, they were knocked offline when they went through the space bridge, but then they are reawakened. They have some encounters with mercenaries, with Quintessons. Then they go on a quest to find the Allspark and bring it back to Cybertron. So Prime realizes his mistake in taking the Allspark off of Cybertron. He wants to bring it back and restore the planet. And that leads them to Nebulon Station, where they think they can use the active space bridge there to get them closer to the Allspark. Lots of things happen there. Megatron finds out Prime is still alive since everyone on Cybertron thought the Ark had been destroyed when it went through the space bridge. But since Megatron learns that Prime is alive, of course he's out for revenge, and he follows Prime to Nebulon Station. There's more battles. They find a Scorponok, and lots of things happen. Then they are sucked into the dead universe, and crazy things happen in the dead universe. They get out of the dead universe, and the Allspark is on Earth, and they land on Earth, or I should say crash on Earth after another big battle. So lots of exciting things happen in the series. We talked, at least Jeremy, Daryl, and I talked about it a little bit, and we were pretty pleased with it. We thought it was definitely better than Siege, and we like Siege too. So thought it was a good continuation of the story. Lots of interesting things happened, and I think maybe I should let Mike and Apollo give their thoughts, because I think you guys weren't here for our previous discussion, so maybe you could start us off with your initial impressions, and then give us some details of what you liked and what you didn't like about the series. So maybe Apollo, you can start off.
Well, I liked Earthrise a lot better than Siege. I really liked Megatron's story in it, and the voice acting for Megatron, Starscream, and Elita especially was spot on. I think they did a fabulous job with the casting. I did not like the episode at all, the one with Skylynx showing up. I was just like, what is happening? And I thought that was really... I was not too happy to find out that Nemesis Prime was just kind of a tease, and it looks like Unicron himself was a tease.
What, Transformers is a toy commercial?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, because Well, no, because like when I was on Mike's show, like it was like I think a month ago, we were talking about like, well, oh, wouldn't it be cool if there was like this multiverse thing happening where like Nemesis Prime shows up because you see like Galvatron show up because they showed that in the preview, and it's like, whoa, what if we had this huge multiverse event happen? And it's like, oh no, that's not going to happen. This is just a tease. So I was disappointed with that. I wasn't too happy with Optimus at all. Like, I think he made a lot of bad mistakes as a leader, plot-wise, and I was more interested in actually Megatron's story, quite honestly, and also like they hinted at Megatron and Alita having like a backstory together as well, and I was more interested in that than really anything with Optimus Prime. And I know that sounds bad because he's the main character, but quite honestly, that line when Megatron says to Lita, you know, if you'd been in charge, I would have followed you anywhere. It's like, I really wish Alita 1 would have been the main character of this show because she's just such a more interesting character. I think she's a way better leader than Optimus anyway. So those are my thoughts about it. I could go on, but that's really my initial takeaway. And
yeah, I mean, those are all valid points. I think we were all really impressed with Alita 1's character. And I think, yeah, Optimus, I think a lot of times people don't know what to do with Optimus Prime. It seems like Megatron always gets the more interesting story arc. This happens in More Than Meets the Eye in the comics.
Transformers Prime.
In Transformers Prime, yeah. I mean, Optimus, I think people feel like Optimus Prime has to be this, like, either he has to be this perfect leader who does everything right, or he has to be this complete screw up so that eventually he becomes this great leader after learning from lots and lots of mistakes. I don't know. I feel like we should get an impression of Optimus Prime having some leadership skills before he, there's a reason that the Autobots followed him. So, we should see a little bit of hint to that, but
yeah,
but I definitely, I think Alita 1's story arc was really what grabbed me in both in Siege and in Earthrise. So, I was a little bit, I hope they're not gone forever, but at least the end of Earthrise made it seem like everyone on Cybertron was killed off. So I hope that's not the case, but I guess we'll have to wait for Kingdom to see. So Mike, what were your impressions?
Oh, I liked it fine. I agree with everyone here. I liked Earthrise a fair bit better than Siege. I think Siege ages poorly the further away we get from it. And it makes me wonder what we have in store for us in Kingdom. Cause, and I remember that show that me and Apollo did. And, we had so much crackling imagination, and keeping in mind that there's only 6 episodes. And so the story's going to get rushed, and it feels like at times that there were so many plot threads that just went nowhere. Like, we see Magnus's head on Megatron's desk in the first 2 episodes, and that is just never referred to ever again. And there's a handful of other things like that as well, just to things I don't know if it was just fleshed out and then dropped, or just straight up dropped. I would say though that Earthrise doesn't feel as rushed as Siege did, because Siege, it just feels like we're on this breakneck adventure trying to get to the finish line, whereas in Earthrise here, we can spend an entire episode on a spooky, scary space station, where, I could actually tell the episodes apart. Like, oh, this is the haunted space station one. Oh, this is the peyote trip one with Skylinks, and we're going on a mystical adventure. This is the Galvatron one. So there was a distinction there that I really appreciated. It felt very episodic, and we got to see a lot of the characters that we got glimpses of in Siege kind of, develop more. We spoke a lot about Alita, but we also get to see, Jetfire kind of come into his own. And I really like how the interplay between Jetfire and Alita, because they almost kind of she becomes the Optimus Prime and he becomes the Alita of the group, because there's a few times where he's like, I don't know, man. I don't think this is a really good idea. So I liked kind of seeing that role reversal there. But yeah, I mean, overall, I really liked it. But I mentioned at the top that some of my takes might be hot. And I don't think this is the hottest, scorchingest take, but for as great as the voice acting is in some parts, I mean, again, Frank Todaro is the best Starscream since Chris Latta. I think Jason Marnocha is fantastic as Megatron. I like that he brings a gravitas and menace to Megatron that I'm not even sure Frank Welker does in those old 80s cartoons. There's just something about that low rumble in his voice that does kind of portray true menace. But then, they're as distinctive as some of the characters are, there are just as many that are indistinctive. Like, why does Wheeljack sound like Wheeljack, but Ironhide just sounds like a generic? It's just like, and I can't even go on about Optimus Prime, because that's a whole nother ball of wax that I guess we can unpack. But I just feel like it's really peaks and valleys with the voice acting. And the thing that I cannot put my finger on is with regards to the pacing, of the actual vocal delivery. It's very deliberate and slow and intentioned and pointed. And it's like, are those acting decisions? Is that voice direction choices? Or is it budget driven, where like they're trying to stretch that vocal taffy as far as they can to cover for the budgetary constraints of the animation? And we're doing a show about Transformers with not a lot of transforming. I mean, again, I don't think these are new, unique thoughts, but I think for as much praise as we heap on Earthrise here, I think there are just as many problematic elements. Like, if this is like a huge high budget, it's like the cheapest big budget show I think I've seen. It's just frustrating. It's like, what do you have to do to make that budget work? Do you just have fewer characters? Do you have fewer episodes? It just, I don't necessarily appreciate it where they just try to, I guess make it cheap is the only way I could say it, to where, as we as fans have to shrug it off as, budget. That's frustrating. So I'll stop there for now.
No, I mean, that's definitely a fair point. I mean, we talked about this when we interviewed the showrunners, FJ DeSanto and Matt Murray. And I mean, they hinted that they spent a lot of their budget on Kingdom, because those are, since they've got Beast Wars characters, they've got a lot more additional models and everything that they have to do for Kingdom. So I'm crossing my fingers that the sacrifices they made in Siege and Earthrise will pay off in Kingdom. But yeah, I mean, it's something you always have to keep in the back of your head, is like, well, there's not, you can't have too many transformations, because that's a lot of animation that will expand the budget. So, I mean, it is, I definitely think there are other ways things they could have done to get around that. At least, I mean, I think if you just, make two models for each character and then just, have them transform off screen, I think that's one way to mitigate that. And I think they did do that. They did do that a little bit sometimes. I think we definitely see that the Siege characters get most of the alt modes because those are the ones that were created based on the toys. So they actually have those models. But then any character that didn't have a toy model at the time this was produced, they don't get an alt mode. So that's also a little frustrating. I mean, like, you have one glaring scene where Optimus Prime says Autobots transform and roll out, and then you have RC and Bumblebee riding on his on the back of his cab there. So
there's a lot of running.
At least in that scene, have Bumblebee and RC damaged, or give them a reason to be getting a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'm low on energy. Maybe I'll just catch a ride. Yeah, it's frustrating. And what makes it so frustrating is that it's so obvious. I mean, it's like we're not looking to pick these nits specifically. I mean, now granted, we're Transformers fans, so we're going to pick those nits anyway, but like, I didn't go into it looking to clock the lack of transformations, but because it was such a glaringly obvious thing in Siege, it's like, well, I guess I'm going to start counting transformations, because that precedent has been set. And I'm pretty sure by the time I got to the end of the 6 episodes, I still had fingers left that I hadn't counted yet. Can we talk about how dumb the mercenary faction is?
No.
Well, we like what was dumb about it?
Well, because I think having a organized faction of non-affiliated factionless folks seems kind of silly. That's like the same folks that have like an anarchy patch, like the red A in a circle, like on their DIY jacket. It just seems odd that folks that are not beholden to either faction are united in their lack of unification. It seems kind of weird. Like if like all the bounty hunters in Star Wars had like matching shoulder pads or something like that.
Or they had a guild.
Right. Yes, but they didn't have matching outfits. I see that you are of the bounty hunting guild. So dumb. That's just me. That's my hot take.
I didn't have a problem with that, but just jumping back real quick to when you were talking about the transformations, I think part of the problem is like we have a lot of other shows that are 3D for Transformers that have transformations, like Transformers Prime. They would show the transformations quite a bit, and I mean, there were some problems with some of them. Like I think Starscream's transformation from that changed quite a bit, but this is a Transformers show, and as you said, how many transformations did you even see? Like hardly any.
And it definitely does come down to budget, but there needs to be a way to work around it. I mean, even Beast Wars, for the time, I mean, they had an incredible amount of transformations in that show.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, there's a way to figure it out, but I don't know if it was timing and budget, and
yeah,
it's
a
sound effect would be great.
Exactly, and it's just frustrating that it's so obvious.
And I know Apollo, you didn't like the whole dead universe thing, but I actually I thought that was a good way to basically sprinkle in some Transformers lore and references without having to, I guess, derail the narrative they were trying to set up. Because I think, while I would love to have this show expand to the whole Transformers multiverse, I think that would probably completely blow out their 6-episode arc. But I did appreciate that they were able to basically inject a lot of Transformers lore into that episode, and then it's all a tease, but I was okay with that. So Daryl and Jeremy, you should get to talk on your own podcast. So Daryl, what did you think overall?
Overall, I didn't mind it. I mean, It's been mentioned that, but I also agree that it was an improvement from Siege. So we mentioned it in the spoiler-free episode as well, but I enjoyed the humor aspect. The humor went way up, and I liked that. So I felt that they were trying. I felt that the addition to the addition of the mercenaries added another aspect to the show that, frankly, no other Transformers show has had before. Yeah, sure, they were part kind of run by the Quintessons, but they had their, their own little, ship, and they had a faction symbol, and yeah, the whole fact that they're supposed to be renegades and kind of, out for themselves and not really associated with anybody, but they're associated with themselves, that kind of thing. So yeah, I get it, but it gave them an opportunity to come up with a new logo, and then they can sell a little bit more stuff with that. And I get that. It's fine. I don't really care. I'm not going to be that picky on it. But I like the other aspects.
And I would say that I love the character choices for the mercenary faction.
Sure. They picked great characters.
Yeah.
So I really like the way that the show kind of did a few things, and again we talked about it in the spoiler-free episode, but the Scorponok episode I thoroughly enjoyed. It was action-packed from start to finish, and you really didn't know, unless you were really paying attention, that Scorponok was going to be in this show. He just shows up, and you're like, holy shit, there's Scorponok.
He wasn't in any of the promo material.
Right? And I'm like, wow. So, I watched it with my daughter, like I said, and she was like, wow, that guy's big. And I said, yeah, he's awesome. He's huge. And, and he's going to kick some ass. And so it was a great episode, and I love that. So, and yeah, sure, the next episode when they went to the Dead Universe slowed everything down and was not really what I'm in for, but Charles loved it. And, and everyone's got their different tastes. So Charles hates action. We all know that. He hates it. but
not true.
I hate the lore. So if it was just punching and slapping each other around for 6 episodes, I'd have loved it. But Charles had hated it. So we can't have it both ways here. So, we got to have it for one episode for each of us at least. But but as far as the rest of the episodes went, I've seen a lot of comments online. A lot of people are going around and saying, it's called Earthrise. Where was Earth? And I'm like, you idiots. It's Earthrise. It rises at the end of the series. And that's, that's the way it was supposed to be. But they were expecting it to be on Earth. And I get that. They want the toys. And if you, heard our interview with FJ DeSanto, then you know that the show is splaying away and it's moving further and further away from the toy line. So, yes, Siege and the show were really tightly knit. Earthrise and the show Earthrise for Netflix it's kind of there, but this Kingdom show, I have a feeling, is not going to be as similar to the toy line that everyone kind of wants it to be. And what we get as far as the Kingdom toy line is really not what we're going to see in the show. So Earthrise was okay. The last scene in Earthrise where it kind of teased the Dinobot and the Kingdom show, that was cool. That was fantastic. And you got a lot of guys, online just blowing their loads on what they saw in that last glimpse of the show. And it's, I give them credit. They're excited, It was fine, and Dinobot was there, and he's a great character to kind of show off. It's definitely not one of the big two, so I'm really happy that everyone's kind of stoked for it. I have a feeling that they're getting their hopes up higher than they need to be, so then they're going to be disappointed. To bring it all back, I thought Earthrise was a good step up from Siege. I have a feeling Kingdom is going to be a step up from Earthrise. If they did save a significant amount of budget for Kingdom, I'm disappointed as the guy who's not a huge fan of Beast Wars stuff, because I really would have preferred them to use equal amounts for all 3 shows, but whatever. I get it, because there's a lot of unique molds in Kingdom that they can't reuse. So, yeah, I get it. But I would have liked to have seen more transforming. And all the complaints, everyone's complaining the same thing. Voice acting is not great. We know that. We know that the transformation is subpar. They really should have done more. Personally, I would have, if we knew that the CGI was going to be an issue budgetary wise, would it have been cheaper to do it traditional animation, right? Would it have been cheaper to go that route? Could they have just animated it old school and done a whole bunch more transformations that way? I don't know. That's not an answer that I can give. I don't have that kind of knowledge, but I'd like to ask somebody who does know. But we'll probably never know that answer. But anyway, I was still satisfied with it. If I can watch a Transformers show and can binge it in an afternoon and not fall asleep, I'm happy.
That's a mood.
All right, Jeremy, you have any additional thoughts?
Yeah, well, I'm guessing I fall right between Charles and Daryl, where I like the action, but I also like the lore, so I don't hate either.
I'm being slandered here on this show saying I don't like action. I do. I love Transformers action. Please do not take away from this podcast that I hate Transformers action. That's all I'll say.
Okay, Mike, you can just clip out where he said that he hates Transformers action.
Or just put in the sound effect of the what was it? Bow chicka wow wow. He loves that kind of Transformers action.
Don't we all?
That's a different show. But I enjoyed Earthrise. I tend to, for TV shows, I'm easier on them, I guess, because if I can sit there and I guess like Daryl said, just sit there and be entertained for the 6 episodes, I don't ding it too hard. And then when I go back to actually watch it more critically, that's where I get the nits to pick. And I don't know. I mean, we've slammed on the voice acting enough, but I just do want to call out the Wheeljack voice actor was excellent. I mean, he was excellent in Siege. He was excellent here. He needs more lines. I just out of all the voice actors, besides the Megatron, Starscream, the leader one, I would say Wheeljack is the next favorite voice actor or voice in that show. I think going on to what Apollo was saying about like some of the Elita 1 Megatron stuff, I really hope that it is enough of a success where maybe they could do a prequel series showing a lot of that past that she and Optimus and Megatron and Magnus had, because that part was really interesting to me. That history that they had that was just hinted at, and in some ways I wanted to see more of that than the actual show I was watching, because I don't know, there was just something there.
Yeah, like I really hope they make a prequel show about that, or even like a comic going over into their past, because that was super interesting. You just got so much character depth between them, and it was really awesome.
So I have a weird hot take on that. I'm a student of deep lore, but I don't know if I necessarily liked it that Megatron is popping off and calling her Ariel. And I don't know if I appreciate it that, later he calls Optimus Prime Orion. Because if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me when I'm wrong, but I think these shows are meant to be for casual fans. It's cool that folks like us can enjoy it, but like if you're talking about something called Project Nemesis and like you're supposed to be surprised when it's a big purple spaceship, that kind of tells me what they're kind of trying to shoot for. Like they'll pull these references, but for folks that haven't seen the War Dawn episode, that reference means nothing. And it kind of reminds me a bit of like that Batman v Superman, where like you have to have an almost encyclopedic knowledge of DC Comics to understand the plot beats and the obscure characters being introduced. And you know, there's been discourse about that to this day, about like, well, you know, you should know what that is. Read a fucking comic book. You know, it's like, well, I know what a parademon is, but this movie doesn't do anything to explain to me what it is. Likewise, I feel the same thing about some of these deeper cuts references. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, in terms of Batman v Superman : Dawn of Justice, all they care about you knowing is that both of their parents' name is Martha.
Why would you say that name?
But yeah, I mean, I think there is like the Ariel and Orion stuff wasn't really set up. So I mean, it comes through that Megatron is using their previous names in a derogatory way because he's trying to get under his skin and he is the bad guy. But yeah, for the casual fan, you might not know why Megatron is calling her by a name that you've never heard before. So yeah, I totally see that point.
Yeah, but I at least for me, it didn't feel like it was overburdened. Like it's a throwaway line, but it's not something that hinges on the entire storyline. Like, and I think, you know, at least if you're even as a casual fan aware of Transformers, I mean, Optimus Prime sounds like a title. It doesn't sound like some dude's name. It sounds like a military title. So to find out that his real name is Orion Pax is not that big a stretch, and it is right after he stole the Matrix from him, and I mean, if you're a casual fan, you know the Matrix is what makes Optimus Prime. So I feel like there's enough context there to figure that out. With Ariel, there's less context to figure that out, but at least for Orion Pax, I think it's enough.
I think that's been around enough.
Yeah, it's enough that you get that watching the show. I think actually most of the references were enough that, I mean, if you're a casual fan, you've probably seen Transformers the movie. So I think Galvatron and Unicron showing up is not that big a stretch. Like you can say, okay, they're from the future and they're coming back trying to change the past. Skylink's got his own explanation, and I mean, Skylink's origin is even different from where, you know, every previous iteration of Skylink. So that's all self-contained right there in the show.
And I really enjoyed Skylinks.
Yeah. So I feel like they did a good job for the most part with those references. Like even the Quintessons, like, you know, they leave it ambiguous as to whether or not the Quintessons are actually their creators. Like Optimus Prime argues with them, like, yeah, he's like, well, I gave you the power of transformation, and Optimus Prime's like, well, that comes from the Allspark. That didn't come from the Quintesson. So, you know, it's nice to have it like be lost to the mists of history and not, you know, not something that's concrete one way or the other.
Just going to say, we might be actually on the same wavelength saying the same thing. I really enjoyed how the Quintessons were portrayed. You know, just the turmoil for consensus, and even what the links that Decius goes to get that consensus, bone chilling. I really like that sequence.
Yeah. I mean, that was also a new take on the Quintessons. Like we never in previous shows, we hadn't seen the Quintessons actually arguing with themselves, like their faces actually represent different personalities. And this was a really interesting take on the Quintessons, to the point where one of the faces basically is a hostile takeover and murders its other four faces. That was really, really unique and interesting.
Yeah, I really liked that. I think the maybe the only other time where there was something somewhat similar was in Cyberverse season 3, but that was really bone chilling with what happened with the Quintessons and Earthrise. I was just like, wait, what? And I had to go back and rewind when I was watching, so I'm like, you know, to make sure that really happened. What happened? It's like, ooh, like.
Yeah, it's that's one way to get consensus. If you kill everyone else, you'll have consensus.
Yeah, why not? Like,
I just wanted to mention, like, the we touched on Elita 1 and their story. I really thought that was compelling, the story on Cybertron, with some of the Decepticons becoming disillusioned with Megatron and Scrapface, like having this group of Decepticons join forces with the Autobots, and then the whole part where Megatron visits the Decepticon base and like sees the sorry state that they're in, and then he still decides to pull the plug on them. That was really it just shows like how the depths that Megatron is sunk to. Like, he feels like this is the only option left to him, but he's basically betraying his own people, and it just really sets up a lot of interesting conflicts on Cybertron.
Well, and it also shows that not all Decepticons are just like mouth-frothingly evil. You know, it's like you feel for Shamble and his other reflector-colored buddies, and yeah, so you present Decepticons in this sympathetic light, and I don't know. I think that was one of the things that kind of crinkled my nose a little bit in Siege, where I think they almost made the Decepticons too compelling and too sympathetic, to where and there's a lot of this going on in IDW too also, where it's just like, if you make your villains so sympathetic, are they still villains?
yeah, they tend to do that. Like, I've noticed that with like this, and then yeah, as you said in the comics, where it's like, you know, they're rising up against a dysfunctional government, you know, and, you know, an oppression, you know, the Decepticons, and it's like, well, is that a bad thing, you know, to be rising up against, you know, political corruption and whatnot, like, and you know, it makes you really want to take the side of the Decepticons, actually. And I think that's why there's a lot of people who are Decepticon fans, is because of that. Like, I did really like, though, in Earthrise, seeing Megatron's conflict with the decisions he had to make for, you know, harvesting the sparks of other Decepticons, because you could tell he didn't want to do it. And, you know, Shockwave's just there going, well, this is the only way, it's the logical choice. And yeah, it is. It makes his, as you said, Mike, it's like his stories really, and the Decepticons are really compelling, and you do sympathize with them. So
I think maybe we've swung the pendulum a little bit, you know, maybe too far in that direction. But I've always thought that the Decepticons should not be treated as just mustache twirling villains. They should be. You should be showing where they came from, why they are the way they are, and you know, maybe if you don't make them completely sympathetic, but I think you should show that they didn't just start off as this group that just wants to, you know, murder the Autobots. They are coming from a place where they started a revolution, but then it got out of hand, and they took it too far.
Bad decisions.
Yeah. And I think at least the show shows that. It shows how Megatron, he starts off not wanting to exterminate all the Autobots. He says, okay, you know, if they just surrender and do what I say, then we could all be happy. But you know, the Autobots are stubborn and don't want to do that. And he feels like he's pushed into this corner where my only options are to completely reprogram the Autobots or exterminate them, or, you know, and when the Allspark is gone, basically, you know, use my own people as fodder. And I you know, and of course he's crossed that moral event horizon, so he is the villain. I mean, he's done too many bad things, but I think showing where it started makes it compelling. I mean, I think the problem now is that we don't the Autobots storyline is not compelling enough anymore. I think we need to figure out the Autobots storyline to make that a little bit more compelling and a little bit more. I mean, we have sympathy for them, but they're kind of just losers. They just get completely beat up by the Decepticons, and we don't see the triumph. Like, we need to see the Autobots, figuring out how to come back from the position that they're in, and how do they overcome. So yeah, I mean, we need some Autobot storyline rehabilitation.
Yeah, stat, because they're like, I am really not interested in Optimus at all in the show at this point. So I hope they really turn that around quickly.
Yeah, and I know we said we weren't gonna crap on about the voice acting much more, but that fourth episode, man, I was having a real hard time when Optimus Prime gets emotional, and it's like that's when the Peter Cullen impression really slips, and it's just like, I've got the lava ground. It's just not good.
Yeah. I pointed out in our spoiler-free review that was really where it just. I wish they had gone a different route.
All right. Well, I think we've still got a little bit more show to do, so I think we'll finish up here.
Here we go.
Thanks everyone for giving all your thoughts on Earthrise, and we are looking forward to Kingdom. I think. I mean, if I had to guess, I would say it'll probably be out June or July, since it's been, it looks like it's been 6 months between each season. So I'm hopeful it'll be June or July, maybe even earlier if they can get it done. But we're looking forward to it. Okay, that is our review of Transformers: War for Cybertron Earthrise, available on Netflix right now. All right, let's finish up the show with convention news.
All right. One non-Iacon Online thing that we wanted to talk about, that is a TF. There are other conventions. Our friends at TF Nation have put out a second free downloadable coloring activity book. It's a PDF. You can just download it and print it, or just digitally color it and go through it if you want. And I think it's a fun way to kind of keep people interested, as I know that they're planning something coming up probably in the summer again, but the coloring book is a neat thing to do, and it's got a bunch of fan artists, and I think they did it before their first online convention, so you can check that out. We'll have a link in our show notes. And now, Iacon Online, what we were talking about at the beginning of the show. The schedule's out. Everything is apparently set to go. And before we get into the full panel list and kind of talk in detail about some things, we do have a note here from Yoshi that he wanted to talk. So I'm going to play this from Yoshi.
Hey guys, it's Yoshi. Man, I've missed talking to you all. It's been so long. I think I've forgotten how to podcast. I need you guys to just wait. Hang on just 1 second. I'm waiting for time.gov to get to the top of the hour here. Just a second. Okay. Did you guys all hit record? Yeah, you hit record. Okay. So I have missed you guys a whole hell of a lot. Daryl, I hope you're ready for when I come back on the show, because trips to the store is going to be epic. I mean, unless you've got something like that Scorponok, there's no way you're going to beat. You got the Scorponok, I'm guessing, huh? Jesus, fuck. All right, so you're going to kick my ass at trips to the store. It is what it is. Well, since we've talked last time, guys, because I know it's been a hot minute, I have been waiting in line at Best Buy for my PlayStation 5. It has been very cold here in Washington, but I have been very diligent. The employees that walk in and out of the store in the morning keep telling me to just order it online, that they're not going to give it to me. But I see people pull up and I see the employees run out with PlayStation 5s and hand them to these people in their cars like I'm going to tackle them. And I just might. I really need one. But the other crazy thing that's been going on is while I've been waiting here in line at Best Buy, I pulled up my phone and I signed up to host a panel at Iacon Online this year. For those of you listening who don't know, I've been writing a fan fiction comic book with my co-writer Greg. It's a Transformers fan fiction. It's called Transformers Reanimated. It's attempting to fill in the gap between the end of the original cartoon's second season and the 1986 movie, and that's a lot of years to fill. And we're writing like mad trying to fill it, and we're having a lot of fun doing it. So we've signed up for this panel at Iacon Online, and it's called Transformers Reanimated: How a Rejected Pitch Became a Fan Favorite Fan Fiction. And we're going to talk about things like how we've released a free monthly issue at transformersreanimated.com for the last 18 months without fail. We're going to talk about some of the artists we've worked with, like Dan Hanna, Casey Collar, Livio Ramondelli, just to name a few. We're going to talk about the podcast and how that is a great alternative for people who might not want to read the scripts. They can just listen to us read the scripts to them like an audiobook. And we're going to touch on some of the stories we've written for the last 18 months, as well as give some teasers as to what people can expect as soon as the next month and further on down the line, what we've got planned. We're really excited to talk about this, especially the stuff that hasn't come out yet. Like, you know, being a creator here and sitting on scripts and sitting on completed art and just not being able to show anybody, you know, except for once a month when we release it. We're using Iacon Online as an opportunity to tease some stuff coming out that we don't normally tease that much in advance. So for anybody that's been following along or anybody that's curious, like that's definitely incentive to check this out, because we're going to be showing some things that are coming out next month. And Greg and I are super excited about it. So I encourage everyone to come check us out. Again, the panel is called Transformers Reanimated: How a Rejected Pitch Became a Fan Favorite Fan Fiction. That's going to take place on Saturday, January 30th at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And as soon as our panel is over, we're going to stick around and do a Q&A. If anyone wants to know, you know, how to get started writing fan fiction, or how to set up their website to host fan fiction, or how to start podcasting, or how to talk to artists for art for your fan fiction, or whatever, you know, whatever it is people are trying to create in the Transformers fandom, you know, this seems like the place to ask, because Greg and I have got a lot of experience, and we just want to encourage everyone to show up and ask questions. And that's all I got. I'm going to wait here in line. Hopefully I get this PlayStation before the panel starts. Otherwise, Greg's just going to do it by himself, because I'm not going to miss out on a PlayStation 5. It's just not going to happen. And I'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.
Cool. All right. So Yoshi's got a panel. Yeah. What, Mike?
Well, I was just going to say, well, that's one less panel we'll have to talk about, because Yoshi's got us covered. And yeah, it's been a really fun time working with Yoshi and Greg on that project. I've been a part of their voice reading podcast a couple times, and it's a hoot, as the kids would say. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. And we've been talking about a bunch of the panels as they've been announced, but some that I actually just noticed today when I was going through the schedule was Crafting Customs, Transforming Your Hobby by Stephen Swit-Whitmack, who I've talked with briefly on Facebook like months ago, when he did some customs that like a lot of people thought was going to be like one of the actual mainline crossover. I can't remember what it was crossing over with, but it was that good that people were tricked for a minute. It'll be interesting to see, you know, kind of a panel about making custom figures. The David Sovolov panel I'm really looking forward to. You've got the Transformers the movie panel. That's going to be great. And I really have to know how you guys got the Cybertron Spree, because that was completely out of left field when I saw it was announced.
Yeah, and as you can see on the schedule, they're playing a games show hosted by General Techno. It is hilarious. We did the recording last weekend for that, and we got to watch that being recorded, and everyone's going to have a blast watching it. So hope you enjoy it. I'm sure you will.
Corn dogs for everybody.
Yes. Our new overlord Pokey, or Pogie, the corn dog. I don't know if you saw on Twitter, but a group of us organizers from the event got inspired by Shockwave's pet, Pogie the corn dog, and we drew pictures of Shockwave with Pogie, and the spree posted those and retweeted some of those drawings.
That I've seen the pictures of the corn dog, and
But to answer your question, Jeremy, we
just asked. We just emailed them. Like, it wasn't hard.
it's just funny because I've emailed them and gotten no response.
Yeah, I think I had
I'm not Mike Seibert. So.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I had originally pitched something kind of more like a traditional interview. And, you know, we've talked about our incredible Iacon Online team, and somebody pops up and says, what if we do a game show with them? And then suddenly it was just fireworks from there in terms of brainstorming ideas. And so when we went back to them and said, well, hey man, how about this? They jumped on it, almost, with disturbing level of enthusiasm. It's like, oh man, this really caught their attention.
Yeah, I think as long as they can be in character, I think they're more
I mean,
open.
they're definitely like 100% in character for it. But it's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool. Are there any other panels that you guys want to spotlight? I know we also have like Toyo Robot Magazine has one. We've had them on our show before, but is there anything you want to spotlight?
I'm looking through the schedule right now. Like, I'm going to be doing the one with David Sobolov. I'm hosting that panel. I'm very excited to be meeting him and hosting that panel. I've had a few phone calls with him, talking about his panel, and he's also offering autographs for sale too. So on his website, and he's doing an Iacon Online special. So if you go on our website and click on his him under the guest link, you can find out how to order an autograph. And he's set up an online autograph store, so it's super easy now to go and order autographs, because before he was having people email him what they wanted, and it just was too complicated before. There's a panel that I would like to highlight on Sunday. Like, I am doing a panel where I am hosting Anna Malkova from IDW 2.0. She is the primary artist. There are some other ones on here. Anatomy of a Fan Fiction by Kit and Harper from More Than Meets the Pod. They're hosting a panel that's going to be a lot of fun. Another one I want to highlight is, Mike did an interview with Stan Bush, Dare to Dream. That's going to be fabulous. We just got so many. It's kind of hard to just pick a few because we just have so many amazing panels, but one that's very different, I think, for a Transformers convention, and we've got two. One is called the Universal Greeting Celebrating Diversity in Transformers. This one's got James Roberts, Jack Lawrence, Maycat, and Thomas Deere, and they are talking about what it means to be an official creator and why diverse voices matter in the Transformers community. So that's going to be a really amazing panel that I don't think has been done at another convention before. And this is Thomas Deere's first convention experience. So being a guest, so that's just very exciting to have him. Mike, are there any specific panels you want to highlight?
Oh, sure. Well, since we were, well, actually a few. So from your diversity panel, there's another one featuring female Transformers creators called what is it? Not Just for Boys, and that's going to be a really cool one. And those two panels were ideas we had very early on because we wanted to set up programming that we weren't seeing at other Transformers conventions. It's like you have this diverse group of creators, but nobody's thought to throw them on a panel together. So it's like, hey, well, let's do that. And once we started pitching folks, the ideas just grew and got more momentum. And yeah, some of these recording sessions have just been incredible. And we're really excited for folks to see. But a couple things I wanted to spotlight. We spent so much time talking about War for Cybertron here, the Netflix series. We have two spotlight panels for the War for Cybertron show. One is a Q&A panel with Jason Marnocha, who voices Megatron, and Frank Todaro, who voices Starscream, as well as frequent guests of the Transmissions podcast, F.J. DeSanto, a showrunner, and producer Matt Murray. So we've been soliciting fan questions for the last few weeks on that. We've got some really good ones. So that's going to be a really fun Q&A panel hosted by Patricia. But we also spent so much time talking about Alita 1 in this episode, and I can't not talk about our Spotlight on Alita 1 panel with Lindsay Rousseau, who voices Alita 1 in the show, and it's hosted by our social media guru, Lita, who I remember on day one of us putting together this convention that would go on to become Iacon Online. She just made like a casual reference of, oh, well, maybe I should just do a panel about, how awesome Alita is and how Alita is life. And I squeaked my sneakers and I'm like, you should do that. Because like if anybody follows Alita out on socials, everything is very Alita 1 aesthetic. She is a super stan for Alita 1 for sure. So I'm really excited as a fan to watch this panel and just kind of see these folks just kind of really gush about this character that in more contemporary times has gone on to be very important to a lot of folks. And I think it's super cool that we've got other female characters besides RC that we could be excited about and has that G1 pedigree. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, we've got this one's definitely for Daryl. It's The Beast Unleashed, hosted by my buddy Stephen Phillips from the Altered Geek podcast. Did we talk about the cosplay panel already, Apollo?
No, we haven't. That would be a good one to highlight.
I can't really speak to it. I don't know that much about it, other than it's awesome.
Oh, okay. Well, I know more about what's going on with that. So, one of the things that a lot of conventions have is cosplay. So we actually have a cosplay contest and also a cosplay panel where you're going to learn how to make your own rigs for Transformers cosplay. And I'm actually, first of all, really excited about the contest because I got to see some of the entries, and there's a lot of really good entries for this contest. But I'm also just really excited on how to make a rig for Transformers characters because I've done cosplay in the past, and I cosplayed a human former version of Starscream at the last TFCon in DC. But have no idea how to get started on building a rig. And so I'm really looking forward to this panel. It's going to be
it's
really
a whole
good.
nother set of skills, I'm sure.
Yeah. And, we also there's a Transformers trading card game, how to play panel. There's a tournament for the card game going on. We've got some that are learning on how to draw Transformers by Suna, who's our awesome broadcaster and technology strategist for the event. There's just really there's really something for everyone in the Transformers fandom, but it's just an overall really good lineup. Like, you're not going to want to miss anything, which is going to make taking breaks hard. So, I really suggest keeping your days, your Saturday and Sunday free, because this is going to be a really good event.
Yeah. Well, cool. And like I said, you can have the Twitch mobile app, run in audio only mode and just, listen to the content as you're doing your thing on the weekend.
Exactly.
I think, I'm excited to see how it goes and pick up some tips myself on the production aspect. So, wish you guys the best. And yeah, I guess we will kind of talk about how it went next week. And I'm just really excited about seeing how it goes.
Well, thank you so much. Without, this is a fan event, so without, fans being involved, we wouldn't be where we are today. So, we are really excited for it, and, download the Discord, download Discord, which you obviously have because we're in there now, but, join the Discord channel and the server and just have fun. It's going to be a real amazing event. So thank you for having us on.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate the support. This is, it takes a village, and friendship is magic. And we're just really excited to have something that, as we already said, it doesn't replace an in-person convention, but as Charles said so eloquently quite a while ago, it's the next best thing.
Yeah.
And I just I want to shout out our Iacon team also, because one of the things that we've really prided ourselves on is our imaging game is on point, our graphics are on point, we're spotlighting exhibitors in the virtual artist alley, we're doing social media shout outs for panels. And a lot of that just kind of came from we spaces that we felt were underrepresented by other Transformers conventions, and we thought, well, let's see what we can do. And there's been a time or two where the water got a little high and we were kind of in over our heads and things like that. But I'm really proud of the team that we have, because we're all just fans. And again, like I said earlier, we come from different corners of the fandom, but again, it is just so cool what this scrappy group of Transformers fans could come together. I was thinking this was just going to be something that we would just kind of do on a whim, and it would be, very low key, very low stakes. And I am amazed at how huge this has become, to where it's like, I don't remember at what point the turn was, but I looked over my shoulder and I was like, oh my God, this is a real thing. We're really doing this, aren't we? It was an amazing experience.
Yeah, it's definitely grown beyond what I initially thought, but hey, it's the power of one tweet, and friends, it's just, I am so grateful for the team and for the community and, support of podcasts like your show, getting the word out there. We want to reach as many Transformers fans as possible, because, we want to bring some good into the world. And this is a real positive thing that we've put together, and it's going to be so much fun. And I'm just really looking forward to seeing everyone have fun at the event.
And buy stuff.
Yeah, please support your
buy stuff.
Artists. Please support our artists in Artist Alley, because really quick, with all these conventions being canceled last year in 2020, there are a lot of artists that sell their merch and their commissions at Artist Alleys, and that's how they get by to pay their bills. So with conventions being canceled last year, it's really important to myself and just the team that the artists have representation, and just please support artists. Like, you're literally like helping people pay their bills during this really difficult time. So visit our Artist Alley on the Discord server or on our website.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that works. So we'll definitely be checking it out. Just icononline.wordpress.com, and all the links are there.
Yep.
Charles, I think that is it for probably one of the longest alt modes we've done.
Oh, thank you.
I told you, man, it was going to be a triple-double bonus.
Yeah.
No, it's been great. Thank you to Apollo and Mike Seibert for coming on the show and hanging out with us. And yeah, everyone check out Icon Online. That's starting tomorrow. icononline.wordpress.com, twitch.tv/icononline, I think. And we'll have all the links in our show notes, and we'll make sure to share posts on social media and everything. So you shouldn't have a problem finding it if you're looking for it. So, everyone check it out. And that will be it for this episode of Transmissions Alt Mode. And as always, when we end the show, we give a shout out to our masterpiece Donatreons. That's John 4X Levengood and Dinobot Maximize. Thank you guys for continuing to support the show at such a high level. We really appreciate it. And again, thanks to Apollo and Mike Seibert from Icon Online for coming on. And also check out the Mike Seibert radio show. That's our friend of the show. Jeremy's been on there, so we're I think Daryl and I are still waiting to get our invitation. So
it's in the mail. I'll get it out soon. And thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it.
Yeah, maybe one of them can come to talk to you about WandaVision.
Oh, I am down to clown. I know we're wrapping up, but I love seeing salty MCU fans out there. There's not enough action. I drink those tears, man. WandaVision is sublime. I'm loving it.
All right, everyone. And yeah, so we're still a Transformers podcast, but you should check out WandaVision. All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. And check out Icon Online tomorrow. And we'll see you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Later.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening to this episode of Transmissions. But just because this episode is over doesn't mean the Transformers fun has to stop. Join us and other Transformers fans on our Discord chat server by visiting transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. If you would like to learn more about how you could support the Transmissions Podcast, just visit transmissionspodcast.com/support. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
So this is going to be like a triple bonus size episode then, right? Because like you got all your media news, then you got rapid fire, then you got mini interview. Oh yeah, and we're going to talk Earthrise also.
Wow.
Pack a bag.
You've both seen Earthrise, right? So you've got opinions?
Yes.
Okay.
I have takes, and some of them are hot. Yes, unfortunately, I project. I'm loud. I'm loud cell phone talker guy in the grocery store. That's me.